Hi all. I'm sure you must have had read about phospholipids in lipid chemistry, and a very important clinical correlate for phospholipids is respiratory distress syndrome of newborn or hyaline membrane disease. So it's a very commonly asked question in the viva as well as in theory, and let us understand the pathophysiology of this disease with the help of a clinical case history. So there is this child who is born 6 weeks prematurely. She was normal until about 30 minutes after delivery, when her respirations became rapid and respiratory rate was found to be 64 breaths per minute, and there was audible respiratory grunting. The spaces between her ribs retracted inward with each inspiration, and lips and fingers were found to be cyanotic, probably from a lack of oxygen in her arterial blood. When arterial blood gas analysis was done, PO2 was found to be 40 millimeters of mercury and PCO2 60. And arterial pH was somewhat suppressed and lactate levels were found to be increased. So the baby obviously had labored breathing, and there was impaired oxygenation, as you can guess from the history. A chest X-ray was ordered, and the chest X-ray showed fine reticular granularity of the lung tissue, especially in the left lower lobe area. The baby was transferred to neonatal ICU in view of respiratory distress, and with intensive respiration therapy, the baby slowly improved. Now let us see what are the key points in the given clinical history which make you arrive at a diagnosis. Okay. So this child is born prematurely. So we must know what are the various risks that are involved with a premature delivery. What are the risks to the baby? So the baby could land up in birth asphyxia, the baby could be anemic, the baby could have respiratory distress, the baby may have apnea of prematurity, hyperbilirubinemia, feeding problems, and also may present with problems of there is not adequate weight gain. So the child was seen normal, and after 30 minutes of the delivery, the respiratory rate was found to be 66 breaths per minute. 66 breaths per minute. So in a normal newborn, the normal respiratory rate is 40 to 60 breaths per minute. So obviously there is increased respiratory rate and audible respiratory grunting. So the respiration was noisy. That means that points towards labored breathing. The baby is having impaired oxygenation and there is labored breathing. Also, there is evidence of intercostal retraction. And this again points towards labored breathing, and extremities were found to be cyanotic. So there is clearly hypoxia. The baby is hypoxic because of lack of oxygen in the arterial blood. The lungs are not very well oxygenated, and that's how there is peripheral cyanosis seen in the form of turning of lips, and turning the lips and fingers have turned blue. When arterial blood gas analysis was done, PO2 was found to be 40 millimeters of mercury. The normal value is 50 to 70 millimeters of mercury. So definitely partial pressure of oxygen in the arterial blood is decreased, and PCO2, partial pressure of oxygen carbon dioxide, was 60 millimeters of mercury, and normal is 35 to 45 millimeters of mercury. So definitely it is increased. PCO2 is increased. Then arterial pH, although the value is not given, but we have been told that it is suppressed. That means pH is less, and the normal pH is 7.35 to 7.45. Here the pH is less, which points to acidosis. So there is acidosis. Then, in view of the respiratory distress being experienced by the child, a chest X-ray was done which showed fine reticular granularity of the lung tissue, especially in the left lower lobe area. So, fine reticular granularity means there is atelectasis, or there is collapse of the alveoli. Then this baby was transferred to neonatal ICU and intensive respiration therapy was given and the baby improved. Intensive respiration therapy probably here means the patient was given oxygen support and some other intervention as well. We'll see what is this other intervention. So we have noted the key points here, and we already know that what are the risks involved in a premature delivery. And this baby is hypoxic, this baby is cyanosed, this baby is having impaired oxygenation, she's having hypoxia, and there is grunting. The PO2 is less, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the arterial blood is increased, there is lactic acidosis, and chest X-ray shows collapse of the alveoli. So this points to there is respiratory distress syndrome, or what we call it as hyaline membrane disease of newborn. Okay. Now, how do you arrive at the diagnosis? So, this baby was born 6 weeks prematurely, and we listed out the various risks that the baby may be experiencing. One of them was respiratory distress. So, what happens? There is something called lung surfactant, which is a substance produced by type 2 alveolar cells in the lungs, and the synthesis starts at around 2 weeks of gestation and peaks at 32 to 34 weeks. Now, what was the case with this child? That this child was born 6 weeks premature. So definitely the quantity of lung surfactant must be less in this child. So, and what is the function of lung surfactant? It decreases surface tension. In the alveoli. Now, when lung surfactant was not there, so surface tension was increased in the alveoli, and there was a lot of pressure was needed to inflate the lungs, but the lungs were not very mature, so that led to collapse of the alveoli. Since surface tension was not decreased because of lack of lung surfactant, that led to collapse of the alveoli, and that is how the baby landed up having respiratory distress. Now, what are the major constituents of lung surfactant? Let us see. First and foremost, which is very commonly asked to you, is a phospholipid. It's a phospholipid, dipalmitoyl, phosphatidyl choline. DPCC, dipalmitoyl DPPC, dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine, or we also know it as lecithin. It's the major phospholipid and a very important compound, and it belongs to which class of lipids? Phospholipids. So they are best known to decrease surface tension. The other component is phosphatidylglycerol. Phosphatidylglycerol. Then you have certain surfactant proteins, SPA, SPB, SPC, and last but not the least, it is cholesterol. So, but the major component is your dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine or lecithin. The synthesis starts around 20 weeks of gestation and peaks around 34 to 35 weeks of gestation. That means a baby born before 34 to 35 weeks of gestation has a high risk of developing RDS. Okay. Now, what effect actually the lung surfactant has within the alveoli of the lung? For example, let us say this is a inflated lung and this is a deflated lung, right? So what happens? So on inspiration, this is your deflated sac, alveolar sac. This is your inflated alveolar sac. So what happens in the absence of surfactant? In the absence of surfactant, about 10 times the normal pressure is needed to inflate the lung from deflated state to inflated state. About 10 times pressure is needed of the normal if surfactant is not present. So, but the lungs are immature in the premature baby and it does not have the surfactant. So, if surfactant is not there, the alveoli will collapse. The alveoli will collapse. So this is the action of surfactant, that it decreases surface tension. It is present in the fluid which is lining the alveolar walls, and if surfactant is not there, surface tension will be increased and it will be very difficult to inflate such a deflated sac, and much pressure is needed, which is not possible in the case of a premature newborn. Now, what are the antenatal interventions? What are the interventions that one can do to avoid the risk of respiratory distress syndrome in such a newborn? So, one thing is the obstetrician. What the obstetrician can do is measuring fetal head circumference. That gives you an idea about maturity of the newborn. Then you can estimate estimate fetal arterial oxygen saturation. And third, which is the most important and most commonly asked to you, is doing LS ratio, measuring LS ratio in amniotic fluid. So what happens? Lecithin to sphingomyelin ratio. Lecithin to sphingomyelin myelin ratio, normally it is more than 2, but if it is less, it certainly predicts that there is risk of RDS in the newborn. So for such patients where you see a decreased LS ratio or arterial oxygen saturation is found to be decreased, in such expecting mothers, for example, where you expect premature deliveries like women with diabetes, women with CKD, women with toxemia of pregnancy. In such patients, you can give synthetic corticosteroids. Synthetic corticosteroids to the mother 48 to 72 hours before delivery. So whenever one is expecting a premature delivery, it is safe and wise to give synthetic corticosteroids to the mother 48 to 72 hours before the delivery, which will lead to, which have a good chance of that the baby's lungs will mature and the baby may not suffer from respiratory distress syndrome. And about LS ratio, one more thing. So this is the figure which tells you about how the synthesis, the timeline of the synthesis of phosphatidylcholine and sphingomyelin. So as you can see in the figure, phosphatidylcholine synthesis, it starts at about 20 weeks and it peaks at around 34 to 35 weeks. So this zone where if the baby is born in this zone, there is high risk of RDS to the baby. And about sphingomyelin, the synthesis starts at the same time, but gradually it decreases around 34 to 35 weeks. So this goes down. So that is how LS ratio will, normally it should be more than 2, and if it is less, that means sphingomyelin is more and phosphatidylcholine is less, that poses a risk of RDS to the baby. So that is it about hyaline membrane disease of newborn. If you have any doubts, you can leave them in the comment section. Thank you.